I'm going to steal your opening line, Nick, because I'm not going to try to even try to come close to how Soul Searching opens up their stuff. Yeah. So welcome everybody to South by Sneakers, otherwise now renamed as Sneaker Convos, probably going to be renamed again. South by Southwest kind of had a little bit of an issue. They think that they own South by the words, but we decided that we would live to fight another day and give it back to them for the time being. So we're on the last day, usually at South by Southwest. If you've been kind of a veteran of there, you know that this last day is tough. You're depressed. You're hungover from 3-4 nights straight of drinking. Hopefully that's not how everybody feels today, but I do feel like, without South by Southwest in person this year, having all this content was really, really special, at least for people like me who loved seeing content for a straight week and learning about new things and, hearing new bands. And this week we kind of did our own spin on it, and we learned about new podcasts and we learned about new personalities. And these are some guys who I've really started listening to, I think, roughly a year ago. And I really like listening to them every week. They definitely remind me of my friends at home. Not necessarily because I don't have any other friends that are sneakerheads. So it's like a nice kind of thing. So it still feels the similar way. And I really kind of like how they make fun of each other. And that's because that's something I think that most people who have a close group of friends, they really appreciate when you see each other, your friends, taking shit and giving it back. So these guys really kind of pep my week up whenever their podcast comes out, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say because we're going to be talking about kind of the bigger picture in the sneaker community as far as like, hey, how do we start giving back? How do we, what is cool that's going on out there besides like weekly, exactly the shoes, and or talking about, kind of rare shoes that these guys might not have the opportunity to talk about as much. So that being said, nobody wants to hear anything more from me. I'm going to hand it over to Nick, and then I'm going to head backstage, and I'll probably get in the comments and start, pretending I'm somebody else and asking you guys questions throughout the day. So, hey, thank you very much, guys, for being here. It's going to be really fun, and, hopefully we'll be able to do the next hour and 15 minutes or so and really get to know you guys.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Kick ass. Thank you, man. Love that intro.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. So I guess, like, guys, let's start this way. So the way I see you guys, Train, Joey, CJ, and Chili, Chili and I go way back now because he hopped on a little bit earlier in the week.
Almost a week ago, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like forever ago to me because I honestly haven't taken the headphones off since, Tuesday afternoon or something, it seems like. So, but it's been a blast. And, I'm stoked to get to meet you guys. This is, probably the funnest shit for me because, we don't get to do this kind of stuff, especially with the pandemic. And I think that, the thing about sneakers, the thing about, like, we had a conversation about fitteds. I see you in the fear of God, Joey. Like this is like the stuff we would do if we were in, the same place, right? We would run into each other outside the skate shop at the BMX park, grabbing beers, and we would end up becoming friends because we'd probably be shit talking, like Joe said, ahead of time. And next thing you know, you're going back to shit talk a couple weeks later, So I think this is the thing that I've been missing the most about what I would consider sneakers and the community that surrounds this stuff. And, I'm just stoked to have you guys here to one, get to know you guys, but also to be able to kind of introduce you to the people that are tuning in from my side of things. Because one of the things that I think is, the most important thing about podcasting to me, and I've been really lucky to do a lot of cool shit in the sneaker world, but I have been a fan of podcasts for 10, 12 years. I wanted to do sneaker podcasts at some of the companies I worked for literally 10 years ago. And, the world just wasn't quite ready to commit to that on that side of things. Podcasts were a really nerdy thing back then. And I think that, you had to be super into it to even understand it. But to me, it's like, shit, you could sit and actually listen to somebody for an hour. I don't want to look at no offense to any of the other guests this week, but I don't want to look at anybody's face for an hour unless it's my girlfriend, like everybody else. I rather, like I love being online and doing this stuff, but I also just need to back up and distance myself. So the podcast is kind of like my anti-social way of really getting to know people. And I also think that I actually get to know people way better. Joe and I became great friends just because we started talking about what we talked about on the podcast. And next thing you know, it's like, oh man, we should do some cool shit together. And here we are trying to figure it out and trying to connect with other guys that are out there doing cool shit. So I'll throw it to you, Train. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then maybe a brief intro on the Sneaker Peek podcast.
Yeah, dude. Wow. If you want to keep going, if you want to keep talking about us, that's fine. I'm having a fucking great time. This is fucking awesome. So I appreciate. Just first, thank you to you, Sneaker History, Joe. Of course, everyone's saying it. You guys have. This has been a fucking hustle, man. You guys have really done it up. So for the show, it's us four guys, and we're trying to just make it fun. It's not just like, oh, this sneaker's releasing, and then people are like, okay, and we're like, I don't like it, and then Joey's like, I don't like it either. You know what I mean? It's like, it's more, since we're all great friends, it's easier for us. Like, I can call CJ a fucking idiot or whatever, like the banter back and forth, and he brings it right back to me. So we haven't even been doing this for a year now. We honestly, it became just like you said, with podcasting, it's like we just want to talk. And we love that people love to hear us talk for some reason. And I love it. So it's really just we can get on a personal level, have fun with it, and bring everyone else in. Because that's a big thing with us. There's a lot of egotistical assholes out there that, don't just want to do their own thing. And it's like, fuck everyone else. But for us, it's like, dude, everyone's a sneakerhead. So we're going to we might have the podcast, but we also have an Instagram where we're trying to promote every single person that comes in and is doing something cool, because they need help just like we would, just like anyone else would. So we're all in this together. And that's, I think, the biggest thing for all of us is it's just a crew mentality for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Who wants to go next?
I'll take the reins. Oh, right. CJ. Okay. CJ intercept me. He intercepted me straight.
Hey, take your pick, Nick. Take your pick, Nick. This is your game, bro. I don't want to interrupt here.
All right, I'm going to go with Joey, but we're going to come back to CJ because I'm pretty sure CJ, you wore a Bay Area hat not too long ago.
That was Train.
Oh, was that Train? Okay. Yeah, we got to come back to that because as you can see, all of us got choice headwear on today, and I don't know if you guys got to hear some of the fitted conversation I had, but we're going to come back to this one particular thing. So go for it, Joey.
Hell yeah, man. I can't wait to dip into that conversation. I'm not only a big sneakerhead, I'm a big hat head for sure, man. Thank you guys, Nick, Joe, the whole team for having us on. We're ecstatic to be here. Ecstatic not just to talk shoes, but talk positive mental attitude as well. That's something we're going to be getting into. And like Train said, we're all friends here. And over the last year during the pandemic, we would just message each other, just talking shit, but also talking about sneakers. And then one day we just said, hey, man, why don't we just step up to the plate and let's do a podcast? I remember Train pitched it. He said, CJ, why don't you be the host? And Train pitched the idea of me running with a rumor mill. And then we kind of all just embraced it and kind of stepped up and brought our own segments to the table. And every day, every week, we're trying to improve and get better. And we love it. And it's really awesome just how much our listeners and our supporters are taking on. And it's just something that is very, very important to us and we're passionate about. And we can't say it enough. Thank you for having us on. And CJ, let us know what you think, buddy. You're all hearts. Look at that. Heart.
You know it, baby. You know it, baby. Every show we say it. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And thank you again to Nick and Joe for having us on. Can't even tell you how excited I was. Even 30 minutes ago, we got on Zoom and we're just like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do this. Train was like, I'm nervous. So, it is what it is. But yeah, man,
I was a little
can't thank you
nervous
guys
too.
Enough.
Really selling me out like that, you fucker? All right.
Well, it is what it is. You said it, so it's fact. And that is the point. But two integral parts to our show, especially being as young gun as we are, man, is the Instagram And for anybody starting a podcast, Google Docs is a massive part of our podcast because we can all go in, we can all edit, we can get everything all, lined up, and everyone's on the same page all the time. So again, shout out Google for the Google Docs, because that was very money for us. But then having the Instagram as well too, like we're immediately connected to the people that care about us. You know what I mean? So that's just, I don't know. That's two things here, but I love to see it. Thank you guys for having us. Let's just let Chili get back in here, and then we'll start rapping about all this other stuff, man. I am super pumped. So thank you again, Nick. Appreciate you guys.
Chili's cramping up over here. What's going on, Chili?
You know what? I'll be quick. I don't need the fourth bite at the apple. You all said it already. I was just enjoying Train getting lit up down below in the comments.
Yeah, man. He's getting put on blast.
Oh my God. Nonstop.
Y'all are fucking mean to me, dude. I did nothing to you guys. And yeah, I was looking at these comments. I'm like, how rude, you know?
Bro, I don't teach you to be honest in front of CJ.
But fuck.
Hey, man, they know who they're talking about.
Oh, Joe knows what's up. Yeah, man. Okay, here we go, Joe.
I'm gonna try my best from here on out. I'm gonna drop fuck like 5 more times, and that's it. And so you can get your shots out. You'll be okay.
All right. Well, does that count?
Well, I was saying when we were on YouTube, we should have had a fuck meter. So every time Train says fuck, that thing would go off. Because some of my homies have told me, man, how many times does Train say fuck? I mean, it's got to be more than Scarface the movie. It's got to be on an episode.
Man, I try. It's like, and I've noticed that too. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna cuss, and then before I know it, it's already, and I'm not trying. It's like
you tried for one episode, and I think you lasted like
terrible.
Yeah, it was awkward. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the one thing about the podcast too, right? Like you're trying to be as like normal as possible, and then you're thinking like, well, you also want people to listen, right? That might not fully understand it. You don't want to scare them away right off the bat. But like that's like the constant like conversation in my head as like somebody who's kind of worked in this business for so long, but everybody knows me, right? Like my intentions are always good. Like I'm trying to be a good person, but like, fuck, man, like, sometimes it's hard out here. Like sometimes people are assholes. So like, it's like a part of it, right? And it's funny because like, I'm thankful. So I've been just doing the canned coffee this week because I haven't really disconnected much. So the shots for me are just going to be caffeine shots if we play that game. But it's probably for everybody's. Otherwise I'd be asleep over here. You'd see the keyboard trailing across. Like my face on the.
I got a good visual.
Any smart man that knows the show would be shooting water. So, we don't want to get smashed before 5.
Yeah, well done. You're right.
Great point, CJ.
How do I even come back from that, man? You know what? It's like, okay.
I don't think Nick's roasted Train yet.
Fresh
get him
now.
Later.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, yeah.
We're going to do it.
Why don't
we're going to do it right here. All right.
Yeah, you two get on that Bay Area business.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. Let's just get that out of the way, and then we can talk about some sneaker stuff and some doing good for the community. So
let's do it.
I'm obviously a huge sneaker guy. I'm big into sports. Always been into sports. Like literally tried to play everything possible as a kid. Try to continue to do as much as I can now. I absolutely love skateboarding and BMX. I absolutely suck at them beyond all suckage could possibly suck. It is. I attribute it to wearing a size 13 shoe. Like, look, my feet barely fit on a skateboard. So, and that excuse only lasted until I realized that Brian Anderson also wore a size 13, which, basically throws my excuse out the window. But like, that's really like for me, how I got into sneakers and then like kind of just all of the things as a kid that you don't get to participate in to the full extent, you kind of go back and revisit, right? Like, we've talked about stuff on our podcast, WandaVision, Marvel, like all that stuff is just us as kids going, hell fucking yes. Like, let's do this again. Right. And then, so on this series of conversations we've been having, we did a little conversation about trading cards. Anybody that's been into sports at some point was totally hooked into that in some way, shape or form. If you if you got into it and you were just into it for the shitty bubble gum, then you're a weirdo. But like, I still love you.
Yeah. What the fuck?
But like nowadays, you don't even have that. Like kids, anybody that's like under, 50 or whatever where we're at, they're trying to figure out like, what the hell is he talking about? Bubblegum and trading cards, right? Like it's a totally weird thing. So I look at all this stuff as like, I'm just like getting excited to be a part of the things that I normally didn't get to. And so these conversations that are kind of a sidestep from sneakers, but yet right there in arm's reach of everything sneakers too, because, we've got sneakers inspired by Marvel. We've got, collaborations between, New Era on the hat side with New Balance, all these different things. And the conversation that we started to have about fitted specifically. So I have a big ass head. Like I wear a size 8. I can't wear snapbacks. Yeah. So it's a blessing and a curse, right? But I can't wear snapbacks. But as a kid, I had a really cool experience where like I had the same teacher in 5th and 6th grade. He was also the basketball coach kind of thing. And somehow, like my mom or stepdad became friends with him. We ended up, going to his house after, 6th grade, because I was going into junior high, becoming a man, all that stuff. And he had an entire wall of snapbacks. He had collected every college that he could find. Like it was actually like multiple walls in this room in his office, and that was like the most mind-blowing thing as a kid, because I had always been a baseball fan, so I always wore hats. But then when I saw that, I actually think I got into hats as like a thinking about collecting before sneakers because of that, which, I didn't actually realize that until I had this conversation. And then as we're going through and having all these other talks throughout this week, it's like, there's just like fitteds are everywhere, right? Like snapbacks were like so big for a while. And then we get to talk to some people from, I had a friend that's at New Era, a couple friends that worked at Mitchell and Ness, like a really dope conversation about that side of the business, because looking at what you guys are wearing, you're probably well aware that like fitteds right now are fucking nuts. Like oh, yeah. They basically took sneaker hype and all of that and went, we're going to triple down on this, which actually makes me realize that I forgot to look. I was supposed to look at Hat Club this morning, but I'll throw that out there. But also, I think you guys should maybe introduce a little bit of where you're from, and also, the headwear choices, because that's an important part of sneakers. Maybe this makes me old, but like the important part of sneakers for a lot of us started as the how do we get this entire head to toe look going, right? There was always like, I think as kids we all just wanted to wear Jordan head to toe if we could afford it, and thankfully most of us couldn't. Yeah, so we wanted to look like all these guys. And it's funny because now that I'm saying that, remember that guy that showed up, in the full MJ suit a couple years back, became a meme? Like people clowned on him, but all of us as kids were like, that's the guy I want to be.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's
we all
what I
had dreams
tried
about
for.
that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Well,
I'm telling you right now, I'd wear a whole starter Bulls jumpsuit right now. Like, I don't give a shit. I think that shit is so tight. And I remember I saw that video. If we're talking about the kid, I think he had autism, and he showed up to the courts head to toe. And I'm telling you, everyone, you could bag on someone doing that. But just like you said, Nick, every single person growing up was like, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd wear the shoes, the jersey, the shorts, the warm-ups, and the hat, and I would just go hit the streets. And then MJ saw this and calls the kids, sends him all different kinds of. It was one of the coolest fucking things I've seen. Take a drink, and that's the last time I'm going to say it. So just get those drinks ready. There you go, Joey. Yep, everyone. So anyway, but for me, so I was actually born and raised in Arizona. So I was born in Arizona, but I had family that was born and raised in Oakland. I always hated Arizona sports teams, except for mid-90s NBA Suns. The mid-90s NBA was the best time in sports, period. I don't give a shit who you are. That was the heyday. And we were lucky enough to see Michael Jordan really play. the Barkleys, all these guys. So, but the Warriors, it was all about Chris Mullin for me. Like that was my guy. And I was always such a big fan of his flat top and his gear. And he was such a fucking awkward, weird dude, but he was just a threat from the 3-point line. So I was always a big fan of the Warriors. I was a huge fan, I am, unfortunately, now that the Raiders are in Vegas. When I was born, they were the LA Raiders, then they went back to Oakland, and now they're in Vegas, which I hate. But at the end of the day, I'm just a diehard Raider fan. I hate John Gruden, but that's a whole nother show. But real quick, with what you were saying, Nick, it's the hat. Seriously, you're right. New Era has stepped that game up because now you have to coordinate. You're coordinating your hat with their shoes, or people are coordinating their hat with their belt and then their shoes with their shirt. It's a big it's a mess, but you do what you got to do. So, you're spot on. And I've been getting kind of horned up for the 5-panel hats. I lost a little bit of weight, so my fat face can kind of go under the 5-panel, so I'm okay now.
Oh, but that's what I
second that you still have a fat face.
Oh, stop. Everyone needs to chill out, settle their poops, just pump those brakes. Come on, guys.
Thank you, Joey, for stopping this bullying. Thank you. Go ahead. You can take it, CJ, or Joey, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joey.
Okay. For sure. Nick, you bring up some great points, man. I'm with you, man. I grew up a diehard sports fan, particularly baseball. You talk about the New Era lids, man. I love that. I'm all about them. I remember growing up and making it a goal to want to achieve and collect all the baseball team hats. That's something I grew up and inspired for. Anytime the Mariners got an alternate hat or whatever team it was, I chased after it. And Nick, let me ask you this. You remember back in the day, the old New Era 5950 hats, before everything got into sponsorships and everything, when they didn't have the New Era logo on the left-hand side? I'll tell you, it's so hard to get those OG baseball hats like that. I've been able to get a Dodgers and a Braves one through Hat Club. But now it's all about marketing and advertisement. I get it, but I still don't like it. I just love those old New Era clean 5950s, just the baseball team, that MLB logo on the back, no New Era on that left-hand side, which I transitioned into this Fear of God hat, man. This is a huge, big deal to me. I love this collaboration. Everything Jerry Lorenzo does, I think, is awesome. And obviously with his father and that background with baseball is huge too. So when they came out with these, man, I thought it was awesome. Not only is it New Era 5950, but dude, with the MLB logo on the back like that, get the fuck out of here. Enough said, man. That is just banging, and I love that. And oh man, I'm getting hot. Let's go. CJ,
what a hype beast, dude. What a hype beast. Holy shit.
Ooh, yeah. Someone told Train not to say horned up, but I'm horned up. Thanks, Joey. Good shit. Honestly, dude, I am the sports moron of the group. I know nothing. I don't care for football that much. I do appreciate. I'm just okay. Thanks, Train. But I am just trying to be honest here. I don't know a lot about sports. I never followed sports very hard. Obviously, I know who the fuck Michael Jordan is, and some of the big things that matter. But born and raised Arizona. Lived 2 years when I was a little baby in Indiana. All my family's from Indiana. So we were right by, I'd say like Gary Hobart. So like Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bulls, White Sox. I mean, all around all that stuff. Every show I rock a Cubs lid, and it's almost impossible to justify a Cubs lid in Arizona, except they do spring training here. So people kind of understand, but like they never win anything. They're awful. They're a terrible team. I hate to say it, but like I want to see them do good. I'm just glad my grandpa saw him win a World Series in 2016. We're holding on to 2016. That's all.
They got that chip. They got that chip, man.
Yeah, they don't win anything besides the fucking World Series. So yeah, everything
in 2016,
except for the best series in baseball.
Yeah, man. Game 7
one
against
time.
Canadians.
Okay, so again,
Yeah,
sports moron.
You already were the
Sports
self-described
moron,
sports
so
moron. Yeah, you're fine.
So pass by, you fucking assholes. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. Head to toe, I love putting fits together. This, I mean, can't please them all. We're a black sheep podcast, and I'm a black sheep kind of guy, man. That's just what I'll say, man. I do what I want to do. My nails are painted. I don't give a fuck. I collect sneakers. That's pretty much me in a nutshell, man. Head to fucking toe. But
CJ's the renegade of SPP. You fucking, he's just so punk rock. You're so punk rock. I can't handle it.
You fucking asshole. And speaking of Chicago, let's just kick it over to Chili. I see the Hawks jersey.
Yeah. Where am I from? Obviously. Yeah, super subtle. But I'm one notch barely above you on the sports moron scale. Like I know the bowls. It was like required reading. And I'm a hockey guy as of a few years ago, thanks to Train. That's about it, man. I can't be bothered. I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't get me. So whatever is what it is. And kind of the same thing with the fitted hats too, man. They got me all excited for like a minute. I bought one hat. I looked like a total prick in it, so I just retired it right away. It's back on the shelf.
You don't look like a prick in it. You look good in that hat. I said that. You need to rock that.
Kind of do.
Kind of. Yeah. Trey, thank you for your honesty. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I was good in it.
Nah. All right. Thanks you. I appreciate it. I'll give it another try. And I got the old black hat over here too. So whatever.
Honestly, Chili, the hat and nothing else. I'd be good. I think you look sweet.
Oh, just birthday suited up? Just a hat?
Yep.
All right.
Well, that's the thing with Chili, man. What's awesome is he's a man of many looks. You never know what he's going to be rocking every Wednesday, every Thursday when we air. So you got to stay tuned and see. Sometimes he's got the beanie, sometimes he's got glasses, and sometimes he's just dressed like a freaking Russian.
True.
Yeah, you're not
Very
wrong.
No joke. Yeah.
All right, I yield back the remainder of my time.
So the fitted, the one fitted, and then you said no. How come it didn't happen that way with sneakers? Because now that I've had a solid, I don't want to say all 30 to 40 years of being interested in sneakers was frustrating, but it's much easier to remember the frustrating parts now because I keep getting reminded every other 48 hours. So how do you stick with sneakers but not the fitteds?
I don't know. I don't know. Sneakers, I don't think you can ever really fuck up sneakers. It's not like if you got weird looking feet, they're inside the sneakers, so you're cool. But I don't know. The hats, I don't know. I've always felt like I wasn't really a hat guy. Apparently I can somewhat pull them off, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Beanies are kind of the cheat code. Beanies and the beard.
Yeah. All right.
Dude outfit.
I think you're wrong, Chili.
I mean, to be fair, the beanie's been my cheat code this year because I'm hair wise, I'm somewhere in between. You know, I'm striving for Joey's length at some point, but during that in between stage, it's just like, well, put a hat on and hope to God nobody else can see it for a while, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I admire the beanie approach.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not taking it off. It's a fucking mop under there, man. It's about 10 months worth of growth, and it doesn't look good. It's probably all fucking oily and shit. I mean, it probably looks great.
Sorry to interrupt, Nick. While we're still talking lids, I got to ask you, with that Giants lid you have on, what's the patch on the right-hand side of it?
It's a
World Series.
I got to figure out this. It's actually the '87 All-Star Game in Oakland, and the reason why this one was important to me is because Will Clark was always my favorite player, and that was his rookie year. Yeah, it was, going back to like a little bit of that baseball card conversation, I was just like, I was enamored with that guy as a kid. I wanted to, I'm right-handed originally, but like I learned to bat left-handed because of Will Clark. I
love it.
I wanted to be like him, and I just, figured that out because of it. So it's one of those things, like, it's funny to me too, because like, I'm 41 and some change. I'm actually almost 42, right? And because I was such a big baseball fan, and my family was always like massively Giants fans. Like, I mean, I was lucky enough to go to some of the most important Giants games. We didn't go to a lot, but we lucked out. Like, if you're a baseball fan and Hideo Nomo has a Nike Air Max shoe, right? I was at his debut game in San Francisco, but I ended up playing Little League for one of the former pitchers and becoming friends. Like, and this is in Oregon. I lived in Oregon as a kid for my family moved a little bit around. So, so I had all these like really nuanced experiences with the Giants as a kid. So it's funny because a lot of the patch stuff on the fitted thing right now is stuff I actually have the old shit from, like, years back, but I wear, like, I'm terrible with hats. I wear them. I sweat my ass off. I'm a I'm a fairly big dude, so like I go outside and I give that wool cap its use, right? I make sure that it works. I make sure that it absorbs what it needs to absorb. So yeah, it's been fascinating though, because like it's almost like sneakers again. It's like the constant reminder of like these little things that that you don't always think about to the full extent, but like that's also what I love about, I guess, just collecting shit and connecting with people and like you get to like get excited about those little things, and then you like, to the point of these podcasts that we're doing, right? You get to talk about those little nuanced things, and now it's like, oh fuck, this is like my best friend because I like the same random beer, I like the same like random hot sauce that you thought nobody else knew, but on the internet, like even the things that nobody knows about, there's like 14 other people out there that actually love the shit as much as you do, which is like just a beautiful thing.
Yep.
You're right, man. I have to ask too, because you brought it up, because it kind of goes in with sneakers, sports, culture, everything that we're sort of encompassing right now. Dude, baseball cards are back. What's up with that? Like, I have so many friends that are buying old school packs. Like, I had a homie that bought the 86 Donruss pack. It was great. We were online. He got like Bo Jackson. He got Chipper. He got a bunch of bangers. Will Clark, you were talking about. Rafael Palmeiro, the list goes on, but like baseball cards are back, and you see a lot of people investing money in almost like sneakers and stuff, whether it's investment. What do you think about that? Because I'm actually kind of ignorant with it. I'm trying to catch up with it. Back in the day, I was all about cards, but they're back, man.
I think it's fascinating, right? So we actually did a panel yesterday with some really close friends of mine, and as I told them yesterday, like I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with them just in the current moment, because they gave me a handful of cards. They talked about all these cards, and then like inevitably you end up spending on, trading cards have gone from like, a kid's game where you can walk into the store with your money from shoveling snow or mowing lawns, and get a couple packs in, allowance money, to like now it's like, you got like, I mean, Serena Williams' husband is, Alexis is like a massive card guy. Like he's like building platforms for this stuff, and like those types of things, just like, and thinking of his background, and like I think he was, either founder or co-founder of Reddit, right? So like, like the amount of access and the amount of people that are financially playing at a level that like 99.999% of the world will never reach, that are actually into cards, is like, it is just wild, man. But I think one thing I will say about cards, they've become broader and broader, right? So we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but like my girlfriend is mixed. Her father's black and her mom is Polish, and so Kamala Harris is a big deal to her in a way that like I don't think like me being a white guy could fully understand until seeing that moment, right? Like I know, and we've talked about it for years, but like seeing that moment, I get chills, man, because that was like, shit, like we need more of this, right? And I try to be as like in touch with these things and in touch with people to know, right? And I've been lucky to move around and live in neighborhoods that I didn't look like the people in the neighborhood. And that was always something that I think I never thought of it in terms of like all these, sneakers has always been a thing that connects me to people and we get to know each other and talk. But like in that moment, like Topps actually has started making political trading cards this year. And it was like, shit, this could bring in a completely different audience to this hobby in a way that like, I don't even think sneakers, and to be honest, like Kamala, wearing Chucks, I was lucky enough to actually write a little bit about that and like, talk to some The Guardian actually, which was like bananas. Cause like I'm just a regular dude sitting behind a computer on the internet. It's like, why are you asking me about this? But like that whole process of like that connection and all those conversations. And then, like Dior's at the inauguration, all that shit is just like, what? But then like to think of that, like condensed down into a card where, look, like the best and worst thing about sneakers, you get to wear them and you get to talk to people. The worst, you got to fucking lug around all these sneakers if you move. You got to figure out how to store all these sneakers. It's a challenge. So to the card thing and coming back, it's dope to see all the interest, but the things that are really cool about it is like, there's Marvel cards, there's James Bond cards, there's Formula One cards, there's
great
Pokemon cards.
Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Like it's everyone. It's like, yeah, it's wild, man. It's so wild, and I'm just here for it, right? I'm here. Like I think like the most important thing, just because like people that watch and see this stuff kind of, I think it's almost like Bitcoin and NFTs. It's like you get excited about it, you go all in, you bought a bunch of GameStop stock, and then it's like, oh fuck, like what did I do? And the thing about cards that I will say, you can just find what you're passionate about in that, and you can run with it, and you can have a good time, and you don't even have to think about the money side of it in ways that like, that you don't got to buy the $50,000 one-of-one Zion Williamson card. You don't have to, like, go find the things that are interesting to you, right? Like, that's the beauty. And even just like thinking about how we're having this conversation, right? We all have these little nuanced interests. We all share these common stories. And yet, like, we don't have to like actually fall into the trap of, to Train's background, right? Like, half the people we talked to this week said that they had deleted the sneakers app. I am not strong enough to do that myself.
Good. Keep that up.
But I also, I'll ask you guys this, so we'll switch it back to sneakers.
Let's do it.
The one thing that I don't like not getting shoes that I really want, right? Nobody likes that, but that's obvious. We don't need to talk about that. I will say the one thing that I actually love about the sneakers app is that they've actually featured people, like regular ass people in the app. They've featured people from the community that would have otherwise never seen, think like even just like 2-3 years ago, we were buying sneakers. You would never think that you would end up on a Nike anything as a regular ass person, but they've been doing it. And so to that extent, I actually don't hate the sneakers app. I hate the process of losing, I hate the, didn't get them, all that stuff. But like at this point, like that's neither here nor there. I realize like I'd rather just talk to people about sneakers and, hopefully I get some along the way. And, but it's something interesting. So I wonder how you guys feel about that part of the sneakers app, I guess.
Nick, that's a great,
go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, that's a great question about being featured in there, because we recently had a listener, What in the Hall, she was featured on it. She has some banging kicks, just like all of us. That's the thing about sneakers. It's not only getting them, but for me, example, and a lot of people, we love to take them out and do some cocky bangers, try to do some photo shoots. You want to showcase those shoes. I love doing that too. And like you said, sometimes you'll post it and Nike will acknowledge it. And we've had a couple listeners that have been called out by Nike, and that's awesome. That is very gratifying. That is an example of something positive. You're right. It sucks taking L's. It does, no doubt. And that is one of the negative things. However, that's a positive thing. I totally do. I'm always tagging sneakers, check, trying to get highlighted in that, but that is a positive thing for sure. Good point. I agree with that.
That is definitely, if I could jump in here. So that is super cool. Yes. I love that they do that. But I will say, and I don't give a shit, I'm just going to say it, their Sneakers Live is fucking unwatchable. It is trash. It's like these fucking guys that have no idea what's going on are just like, check out this shoe. Like one of them didn't even know the name of one of the shoes I was like, come on, dude. Who the fuck is hiring these guys? But that's about it. But everything else, it's like from pictures and shit from people like, our girl, Alexis, What in the Hall? She's in the chat right now. Nike just hit her up. That's awesome. And that's you're talking about, you can argue this if you want, but you're wrong. The biggest sneaker company in the world hitting you up like, hey, we want to show you on our app wearing our shit. That's fucking cool, man. Like, I'm waiting for Coors Light to hit me up to do some shit like that, but nothing yet.
Well, maybe Red Dog will hit you up.
Oh, fuck. No, thank you. No, thank you. CJ, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think it's a good point to bring up with the sneakers L's. People get discouraged almost immediately after their first L or first couple L's. You know what I mean? It's it's frustrating, but you have to, we say it on the show all the time, man. Shoot or shoot, be consistent, be on the app, no matter how unwatchable you think it is, train. But it's just one of those things that if you put in the time, eventually you'll get back something. I mean, at least, something. And it's funny too, because a lot of dudes that I know will like shoot for something that they don't want just to try to get the algorithm moving. And then they end up with a pair that they don't fucking want at all. And it's like, oh man, like that sucks. But that's the market. You can still move them and make it happen. You just have to keep a positive mental attitude about it, keep informed. And that's, I mean, I hate to take this back to our Instagram page, but that's why we try to keep things factual, real release dates, keep people up to date. And again, that's helping our community. Like we're trying to keep everyone on a similar page that is honest, that is real, that is helpful, I mean, for lack of a better way to put it. But yeah, you can't get discouraged taking a bunch of L's on the sneakers app. It's definitely not something I would do, deleting the app. I mean, come on, man. Like, again, shoot or shoot, bro. You got to go.
Yeah, you can't delete that app. Well, hey, case in point, Chili. Talk about it. When those Off-White Air Jordan 5 sales dropped, dude, Chili wanted those so fucking bad. I mean, every day he was talking about them. Every day he was trying to up his algorithm, sending me constant messages from sneakers and shit. And he was putting down a negative attitude. He's like, oh yeah, man, I'm not gonna get these good. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to take the L. And I was like, fuck you, man. Start having a positive mental attitude. Let's turn this around. And that motherfucker hit. He hit. So you got to have that positive mental attitude. Yep.
Yep. And it's a test to the way we run our show, where you can call someone a motherfucker and be positive.
And that's the truth. It's like we're going to sit here and, at the end of the day with our show, it's like, it sounds like we're such shitballs to each other. And honestly, I'm the least of that. It's mostly Chili, Joey, and CJ. I just in there, I'm like their punching bags. So, and I mean, it takes a toll on me, but other than that, it's at the end of the day, we're all like great friends. So we all try to hype each other up. And, for all of our listeners and shit, we try to hype them up too. It's like, I mean, that's the biggest thing for us. It's, man, what? Come on, man.
Again.
This dude lacrosse is putting us on blast.
I know. But I mean, that's the whole thing.
He knows the facts. There's 3 punching bags and then there's train.
I mean, hey, it's all love. But seriously, what we do is we try to hype everyone up. It's like if you're everyone, we get messages all the time. People like, oh, I can fucking taste the L from here or whatever. But that one time you get that W, you're fucking partying. You're going off. And that's what that's all about. That's what the sneaker, if we hit on everything, it wouldn't be as fun as it is. And I know it's like, oh, bullshit, but it's true. It's that hype, and you have 100%. That possibility of not hitting. So everyone, of course, is like, well, fuck, I'm not getting that. But if you do, just like Chili in the Off-White 5s, that dude was running around the street naked, showing his pecker to everyone. I mean, it was a fucking party.
He was like Matthew McConaughey, naked playing bongos in the street, man.
Straight up.
He was on one.
No.
Nick, I have to ask you, what was the last thing you copped on the sneakers app? What was the last W you got on sneakers?
Great question.
Wow,
it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Okay.
So to your guys' point, we sneaker history, we do like we have the Instagram, we have all these places, right? But we really focus on like our Discord community, because honestly, like as much as I love meeting new people, I also hate dealing with Instagram. Like it's just a pain in the ass to me. And it's like I try to connect with people. I can't keep up on all the accounts. So sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with like the 80, 100 people we have in Discord that I know like, all these folks, we do kind of like you guys, we're talking about Zoom before this, right? We actually do like a Zoom call with our community, once a month at least. And we do trivia nights and all these little things to like, the kind of shit we would do if we were just hanging out normally and be like, yo, let's just go shoot the shit and make some fun of each other, have a good time, blah, blah, blah. So the last shoe that I hit on sneakers was actually the Mocha ones.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That was not for me. It was for one of my guys, Robbie, on the podcast. The last shoe that I hit for me personally,
nice,
was actually way back, like probably, Joey, you'll probably appreciate this. I was actually really a sucker for those Fear of God Skylons that came out. And I say hit, but like they also sat on the app. So, I'll take it. It's a win. I got both colorways. I love that shoe. In hindsight, I could have paid probably a third of the price if I waited for them to go on sale. But, that's also kind of my MO. Like if I like this stuff, I don't really think much about it. Like just go, put your hat in the ring and hope you get it back, So, yeah, it's been really rare for me to hit on sneakers, though. It's been really rare for me.
For sure, I had to ask, and that's awesome too that you're looking after your homie too, man. When the Carmines dropped, man, that was a 10 for me. I wanted those so bad, and all of our boys had my back. Trainwreck was able to hit. Unfortunately, his pair had the pink all over on the midsole, but he was able to return them. But I got a fresh pair too. But yeah, no, that's awesome, and that's what it's about too. That's a positive too about the sneaker community and L's. Even if you don't hit, hey man, go after your buddy, get his back, try to get him a pair. Totally. That's what it's about. We have plenty of listeners too. We got a listener, a great supporter, Kicks and Carbs, man. We're always messaging each other. That guy will straight up say, hey man, you need help getting this pair? I'll chase him for you. That's awesome. And that community, that's what I love about it. You get so much negativity around, but when you have people like that, that's very uplifting. And that's what we're all about. We're all about helping each other secure a pair. Trainwreck, tell us.
Yeah. No. And you guys brought up great points there. I think that's what makes this sneaker community so great is that everyone loves their own shit. And it's just when people start thinking that their opinion is correct and yours is wrong, which you're going to deal with. There's going to be those fucking people everywhere. And it's kind of just you know what I mean? It's like, all right, okay. Like you like this. I Air Jordan 3. I get fucking hammered for not liking that shoe. And it's like, dude, it's just not for me. But I also
hold
like
on. I gotta shut
runners.
This down. I gotta shut this down. Hold on. You don't like
there we go.
Yeah, we're gonna end it.
I was like,
okay.
Buddha backstage for you.
Not from you too, Nick.
Joe,
going home
Nick, if you want, you can just throw him out.
Oh, wait, is our boy Joe in the Hot Wheels shirt? Is he an AJ3 fan too?
Yeah, goddamn right.
Goddamn.
Fuck yeah, okay.
Joe, dude. But that's the whole thing. It's like, I love the foam runner. So fuck all you guys. Okay. I love that thing. All right. I call it a sneaker.
Hey, how do you feel about mids?
Oh my God. We got an extra 4 hours. I think we can hit that. I don't know.
Be careful what you guys ask for, man. You're going to get this train up and rolling. It's going to be off the rails.
Yeah, that was another thing. CJ took some pictures of him wearing nylons in his Post Malone Crocs. So it's and that's real. So we got to hammer these guys, but it's all out of love.
That's real.
So. Oh yeah.
I mean, I think that's the interesting thing about sneakers. So there was an analogy this week. There was an analogy this week that was somebody's. A lot of the conversations I'm trying to have are, to what you guys are doing. It's trying to be positive. It's trying to have conversations that are, maybe just not had in the public space as much, right? Like, I think the sneakers app, it's a part of the game, right? Like I love the game at this point, and not like I don't love missing out on things. Nobody loves that especially when it's something you're really passionate about. Like you said, if the Carmines are a 10 for you, like I don't want you to have to feel that way, right? Like never. And I think that's the frustrating thing about it right now. But at the same time, somebody used the analogy of like it's sneakers confirmed, pick your poison, right? It's all like going to Vegas and pulling the slot machine or putting it all on black, right? But like my argument to that is and will be forever that I've definitely lost plenty of money in Vegas. I've definitely made some poor decisions and forgotten a lot of things. But the one thing about going to Vegas is that I remember the people that I was there with and the fun that I had with those people more than anything at all. And that's what sneakers still is to me. That's why, like, I really appreciate you guys, what you're doing. And like, Joe introduced me to your guys' podcast, I would say probably about a month ago. And, I tried to listen to a few episodes as I was putting all this stuff together. And, just like it's a vibe that I like. And like, I think we need more people out there doing this kind of stuff, having these kind of conversations. Yeah, we're all fucking like, all over the place, but we're having a good time. And like, if sneakers is the thing that's sitting in between us and we can talk about it and bullshit with each other, then that's what it's all about. So I think like,
absolutely
saying that you guys, you guys do an incredible job of that. Just even being able to come on here, at first it's like, we all have it, right? It's like, I've never done an event like this before. So like the last couple of weeks been like, oh, fuck, what am I getting myself into? Then I realized, like, we get in this room, we get through all the BS of like, fuck, the audio's not working. Joey can't hear us. I can't hear, Joe, like all these things that always happen. And then it's like, you realize like, these are just people that we would just, whether it's a sneaker con or a dunk exchange or any of these things that, like whether it's like some random ass thing at a Suns game, right? Like that's kind of how all of this stuff like just spins out of control and you end up having great friends. And that's like still to this day, my favorite thing about all this. And, it's like, just to like you guys doing this and like being able to have this conversation to me is just like, yeah, these are the guys I fuck with. These are the people that I want to have, out there creating this content so more people can come in and kind of understand like the nuances and have the fun that we have with it. And let's just like keep that PMA, keep moving forward, right? Like we don't need to, like we don't need all the negativity. It just brings us all down, like. And then when you do get to that point where the negativity is there, you got 4 other dudes out here that are like looking out for you, and you got a whole community that's like looking out for you. So like, it's just beautiful. And I'm appreciative that you guys are here with me talking like this, because it really makes me appreciate the wider I get and the more people I get to know, the more people I find that have the same vibe, the same attitude, and the same fun that I do in it. So that was super long-winded. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys talk a little bit for a minute because.
Thank God. So yeah,
that was below the belt.
That was really well said, and it's true. It's like I'm too old to give a fuck about that negativity anymore, man. The big thing for me is I want to hit on shoes. I want my homies to hit on shoes. I want people that I know to hit on shoes that they want. That's the biggest thing for me. That's what I love to see. And people could be like, oh, bullshit. No, it's true. I mean, dude, I really enjoy seeing my friends happy. And that's the kind of positivity we want to bring. I mean, it's just like with our show. We're trying to bring positivity, make people laugh and understand that the sneaker game isn't as fucking nasty and cutthroat as some people. Yeah, there you go, Chili. If you want to sing praises to me, go ahead. I'll let you take over.
Oh, but yeah, later though.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So, but no, for real. I mean, that's just what it is. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And yeah, our show is a little abrasive. Like I've said, it's pretty heavy, but I want everyone to understand that
our show is real.
Yeah.
Well, there's a disclaimer.
We talk the way we talk. There is a disclaimer, but we're very, dude, and I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but we're very real. Oh, we talk the way we talk. We get on the show. We don't change. Like it's yeah. Okay, sorry. Fucking go ahead.
Turd. I'm just playing, dude. Go ahead. I'm sure you're going to say something really smart.
I know.
Yeah, I'll mute myself. Go ahead, CJ.
No, see, now I'm on the spot. See, this is the kind of chemistry you've got when you're with your friends, because you want to butt in there, and then they're like, okay, yeah, here's the full screen. It's all you, and they fuck off, and then you're stuck. But no, man, dude, the thing about us, we're real. I love the fact that literally sitting at the bar talking to some random guy, this is the same kind of conversation we have. Nothing changes when the camera turns off. You know what I mean? But I did see Joe pop in a question about charity sneakers and things that have been done with sneakers for charity. I wanted to bring that up because it seemed like he wanted us to talk about that. But one of our listeners popped in there and said Dorenbecker. I mean, Dorenbecker has given so much to, I mean, just massive amounts of charity money. So I think that was a great answer. And I believe that was it was either Burkhan or Megalos that threw out the Dorenbecker. Great call. I mean, you guys have anything to add? Any other charities going on? Obviously, shout out Charles at Legend Phoenix. We donated to his charity around Christmas time.
Yeah, train if you want.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say too. It doesn't have to be this fucking worldwide shoe drive. I mean, this shit could be local. And Nick, you talked about this way long ago, like 3 days ago. But it's you guys, anyone out there can start a shoe drive. Anyone. To your buddies. It's crazy how much sneakers and socks are needed. And seriously, going out to a Target or a free ad here we go, Walmart, okay? You could buy a shitload of sneakers, and seriously, the thought of a kid not being able to afford a pair of sneakers, and I'm not talking fucking Off-White, I'm talking any sneaker, is and should be to everyone else fucking upsetting. And if you could go out and drop $40, that's like 3 pairs of shoes. 50, you know what I'm saying? It's like you get 4 or 5 homies together and you could put together 15 pairs of shoes. That's a really big deal. And that could really help people. And just, it's all different kinds of shit like that. And we're talking about not just shoes, socks, clothing, whatever. Just do it. But get your friends together. Go online. Tell your people, hey, fucking let's buy some goddamn shoes. And just do it.
Yeah, about as simple as it gets, huh?
And it just doesn't have to be shoes, too. Know that, too. Any way you can give back. I mean, if you can give back while you're doing service, whatever it may be, or if you want to donate or clothes, I mean, that's what it's about. You got to give back in some form, and you got to do it. There's no excuses. There's no excuses.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
You're muted, Nick.
Nick, you're muted, buddy.
Barry Bonds, you're muted.
Rookie move. What the hell? I'm 4 days into this. How am I still doing that?
It's us, baby. We bring it out of the best.
Now, proof that no matter how long you do this and how many episodes you've done, you're still going to make that same mistake at some point. So,
a seasoned veteran like you, man. It happens.
I was going to say, so we did this through sneaker history, and we do a podcast talking about what's going on and having some fun and all that stuff. I also have another podcast called Outside the Box that's a little more, I try to do a little more serious topics and try to dive a little bit deeper so I can, hopefully inspire people, more than just the friendship in the community, but like get to the people that are doing the things, or even the people that might, steer you away from the troubles they ran into. But I was able to connect with some kids out of New York City that started a nonprofit called Soul Purpose. And they're both, now seniors in high school, and, like 17 years old, and they're donating shoes to the homeless they're collecting and donating shoes to the homeless around New York City. And, it was just inspiring, right? It's like I try to do as much as I can, but even when you see that, it's like, fuck, it took me, how long to get to this point of being able to, I think, feel confident in myself enough to give back to that extent, right? And to I think Train's point, right? It doesn't have to be a massive thing. Like sometimes, like my personal nature is to like just obviously just spiral it out of control and go as big as possible, like this event kind of turned into. But I also am 100% with you. Like just the littlest thing you can do. A little bit off topic of sneakers, but like the Soul Purpose guys, are doing something incredible at that age. I can't wait, fast forward 10, 20 years, we're going to all be looking to those guys like, wow, they're fucking changing the world still. It's like, that's like next level shit. And it's exciting for me to be able to, one, support them and talk to them. They were super nervous before we started recording. And I think like, once you start talking and, get to realize like, we might have 20 years difference between us, but we still have the same interest. We still get excited. One of the kids pulled his pops had handed down a pair of like Lakers Converse weapons from the 80s to him. It's one of his favorite pairs of shoes. And I was like, yo,
Magic,
man, like,
baby.
I mean, that's it, right? Like, if we lived through that era, you love it. If you learned it from your dad, your grandpa, your mom, your grandma, like whomever, your neighborhood OG, like it's all the same stuff. And I think like, I look at like the charity side of this as like, this is like the big thing that we need to solve, right? Because as much as I love this stuff, it got to a point where, I don't like, I've been on a little bit different side of the media side of what sneakers is in the last few years, right? Like I worked for Complex, I worked for Soul Collector, I worked for Finish Line. I've been on the side of sending shoes out to people. I've been on the side of receiving shoes, and it's all been stuff that I could have never dreamed of as a kid. I didn't think you could do anything. My brother was a better artist than me, so I thought he would be a shoe designer. Like I couldn't draw. I thought I'd be working in a Nike store. It's like you can be a designer, You can be the CEO of Nike, or you can work at the store. Like that's what you think when you're a kid, because you just don't even know how to get involved. Now,
right.
We don't even have to actually do anything with the brands. We don't have to go to Nike. We can do what we want to do here, have these conversations, and be, like have an impact on people around the world, around the neighborhood, around the country. Like, and I think that's the thing that with like where I want to go with this. And Joe and I are going to talk about this after all this is done. But like, just in this conversation, I know, we want you guys involved in this moving forward, whatever it becomes. But like, I want to figure out a way to give back in a way that is as simple as possible and reaches the most amount of people, to just say exactly what Train said, as like, it doesn't matter. It's like, a pair of socks, a pair of shoes, like part of it is like, we all love going and hunting and finding that stuff. When things are open fully and you feel good about it, go fucking, dig through the piles at Ross or someplace, find a shoe that you love, and then go give it to somebody. Like there's got to be ways for us to do that and still get a lot of joy out of the fact that it's sneakers. And I think that's like the thing that we've been talking about, trying to figure out what that looks like with this. But then talking to you guys, it's like easy to see that people would understand and want to move forward with this. We can amplify that message, and we can get it out to all of our audiences. And I guarantee you, all these people in the comments now, all the people in the comments in the previous 30 some odd conversations are going to end up becoming friends through us doing that good stuff. And that's where, I'm really just hoping this all goes. So I think, to your point too, like, I think sneakers obviously is the way that we can do it, because we're all passionate about it. The socks thing is really interesting, because I have a friend, Barry, who hosts a podcast called, Step Into My Shoes, and he kind of talks to people about all of their life stuff. It's a little bit of sneakers, but it's much broader. They go into, he's a big car guy. He hosts an annual charity car event, a toy drive, down in LA every year. And we're always talking about how we can do more of that, right? Like, how do we do more of that? But then this weekend, one of his buddies, or I guess, it's been a long week. It's actually last week, I think. One of his buddies had a birthday, and his only thing he wanted to do for his birthday was go, support some of the homeless people down there in Venice. So they went and took food, socks, shoes, anything they could that would help all those people that are struggling right now. And I just think man, I'm so excited to see more of that. I'm so excited to talk to you guys and, figure out ways that we can do this, everywhere, right? Like, let's take care of everybody, because, now's the time, right? Like, we got all the resources that we need. We got, we're all mic'd up. We can all have the conversations around the world. And it's really crazy how we've gotten to this point through fucking talking about sneakers, like, that's bananas. Like,
you're exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so well said. And CJ, let me just jump in real quick. I know for all of us, at least right here, and I know a lot of our listeners and followers would be 1,000% down. Just like you said, I mean, doing something huge for a charity and giving back, it wouldn't even be a question. It's something that, honestly, for me personally, I was raised not rich, but I wasn't raised poor. I was raised with a handicapped grandfather. So he taught me a lot about charity and love and respect and stuff like that. And helping is, me personally, it's in my nature, and it's something I really enjoy doing. It's not something where I film myself doing it and I'm like, hey, look at what I just did. Look at what, that's not what it's about at all. It's knowing that, hey, I helped someone, and that's what it's all about. They needed help, and I was in the position to be able to help them, and I did. And I would expect everyone to be in that same kind of boat. If you can help, then help. I mean, it's that easy. And if we could do something together with everyone from the sneaker convos and whatever, let's fucking do it, because it needs to be done.
Yes. Well, and you've said it before, dude, that like time is money. You don't necessarily need a physical something to throw at. You know what I mean? You have time. You have arms. Like, just be there, do something for people, do something with people, for people. You know what I'm saying? And Nick, if you're suggesting we do a Sneaker Convos SPP like telethon, yeah, we're all in. No problem.
Yes, absolutely.
We're cooking up on the show live, man. Love it.
Can we actually get like old school phones where we've got the celebrities that come in, and we can talk about sneakers, but we're on the pigtail cords and accidentally pulling them out as the old version of me leaving the mute button on.
Hell yeah, I'm all in, man. Let's do it. And we got to reflect the fits too of that time too. Yeah. We got to dress like that accordingly, man. You got to drip that way.
Down.
But yeah, what do you think about it, CJ? I wanted to get your. I think Chili went to go take a poop. So, CJ, what do you think about it, man?
Oh, Christ, that was a fast shit. Man.
As far as like giving back, like I just said, like time is money. Show up, do something. But when it really comes down to it, it's a matter of putting yourself outside yourself for a second. Like, obviously, we're well aware the world doesn't revolve around us alone. That's why we're here together. You know what I'm saying? It's just making the effort. You know what I mean? Get out there and do something. And Train, I think you said that best when it's just like, fucking do something. That's what it comes down to.
Do something small.
Man. Chili, anything else to add here, man?
Yeah, do something small because something large will feel overwhelming and it's less likely to get done.
Arm and a leg.
But strength in numbers too. I mean, that's a big thing. It's you want to just do something by yourself, fucking do it. Like, go do something cool. Don't be a fucking asshole. Straight up.
Yeah, I think the other thing too.
Yeah, and again,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Sneaker Convos. This whole thing that you guys put together this week, thank you. Like, this is awesome, and it's bringing community together. And you're 100% right that people will become friends through this for sure.
Yeah, thank you. It's one thing I want to go back on that's really fascinating, and this is as you said that about not showing it or whatever, and there was a comment that said the same thing. I naturally do all that stuff. I do a lot of stuff. I don't talk about a lot of the stuff I do, like outside of sneakers. Beyond, like we have like family habits that. I don't want to get into that right now, but like that, because that's not what it's about. But like, if you want to talk to somebody about it, like reach out to any of us and find out ways, because you can help people you can make it so simple. Like, it is so simple to help other people. But I think too, like I would also like say that if you choose to do something good and share it on social media and you feel good about that, then just do it. Because you're going to get that one person that says you're doing it for clout or whatever, but like there's going to be 10 people that see your post that think twice about how they can make the world a better place. And we somehow collectively need to just drown out all the assholes that are like, I handed this food to somebody, this shoe to somebody that I didn't know because they needed it, and they're trying to bring you down for doing something that you initially felt good about doing and did out of the goodness of your heart. And I think that's a big challenge, right? And I hope that that's something that we can collectively, like address in moving forward with whatever ideas come from these conversations that we'll have here and, in the future, because it's shitty, right? Like, I think like, how do we get to the point where not to get into philosophical talk, but like, it's just like the sneakers app, right? It's love, hate while we're in it, but you step back from it and it's all love around the people, the bullshit, the talking, the shared victories, the shared losses, the reason to drink after you didn't get it. Like, all of those things would make it great, right? So like, I think we need to figure out a way to do that, like in like a, almost like, how do we collectively in the sneaker community take that and apply it to Instagram, apply it to the YouTube comments, apply it to everywhere where there's negativity, and just be like, no, it's cool. Like, this shit is more fun than what you're bringing to the party, right? Like, and I don't mean that like people can't come to the party. If you're an asshole, come on down. Like, we'll make you a nicer person. Like, that's how I approach this shit. Because honestly, like, at the end of the day, like, the sneakers are great, but they don't matter. Like, you know, like I'd happily trade all of that for time with the people that I've met from this business and this industry and this community and this like just ridiculous passion, right? It's just ridiculous that we have so many shoes and we're just obsessed over it. But at the same time, that's just life, right? We find those things that like it's a thing or it's a story or whatever. And like, it's never about the story. It's never about the thing. Like, I mean, not to be disrespectful to, you know, it's got to be the shoes because that was what made it for me. And like one of those things that I love. But also, fuck that shit. Like, it's about the people.
Yeah,
amen, bro.
Yep.
Preach it.
You got it.
The sneakers opened your eyes, and then your heart came from the people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well said, CJ.
Dude, everything's been
Love
well
it.
said. It's really, this has been a really incredible conversation. And I hope it's eye-opening to a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of avenues to help, and especially hit us up. Like I'll do whatever it takes to help you do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? And Nick, like you said, you know, if people want to film themselves doing it, whatever, like you're still at the end of the day, you're doing something cool. But for the people like you that do a lot of cool shit and don't get any recognition for it, that's what people like us are for, to hype you up because you fucking deserve it. You do a lot of cool shit. And you help a lot of people. Just because you don't want to say anything, that's fine. I'll fucking say it. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. And if I do something cool, then I expect fucking Joey to go on MySpace and fucking tell people. God damn it.
MySpace, damn.
Oh yeah, well whatever.
Yeah, that's throwback. I'll log in. I don't fucking remember my login, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's it, man. For real, it's like everyone is there to hype each other up, and that's what I want to see this community get even better at. Because there's a lot of people doing really cool shit, and there's a lot of people that need recognition that don't want it and don't do stuff to get recognition. They just do it because it's right, and that I love seeing that. But I also want to shout people like you out that do that because you earned it and you deserve it.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Nick, can you throw us some links after this is over, and then we can post it?
Yeah, of course. So,
great call, Chili.
So we'll we got another one coming up here. So we'll wrap here real quick. But just so everybody that's watching, listening knows, all of these conversations are going to live on the Sneaker History YouTube. After I get a little bit of break for a few days, I'm going to get the audio, the video to everybody that's been a guest, everybody that's been on the panels, everybody that's talked with us. So, you know, you guys can do what you want with it. The whole point was to prove that a community exists and that, you know, that we're having a good time out here as opposed to all the negativity that's out there. So you'll be able to, you know, probably see this wherever you follow these guys. And I think too, you know, make sure that, you know, I think like if you guys want to throw your handles out there to make sure that people can connect with you and follow and, you know, get to know you better. And, you know, personally, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you guys. You know, like this conversation has been incredible. Likewise. I appreciate you guys making the time and, you know, obviously looking forward to doing this in person someday. It's going to be a blast. Like, I just think like this is kind of proof that it needs to happen. You know, when it's safe and when people feel confident enough to come out and be a part of it. So definitely looking forward to that, but I'll toss it to you guys to kind of do the rounds and we'll wrap it up there.
Well, cool. We'll toss it to CJ for the outro.
Sure. Yeah. Right on. Well, you can find all of us. We all lurk on the Instagram page at Sneaker Peek Podcast, spelled out, you know, SneakerPeekPodcast, Sneaker Peek Podcast. So that's where you'll find all of us. And we're all pretty good about getting on there and answering you guys, you know, relatively quick. My personal handle is cj.cavanaugh. That's CAVANAUGH. Terrible, you know, spelling of a last name, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, again, you said it best, Nick. All love. We are all about the love. And thank you so much for having us again. I'm going to kick it over to everyone's favorite giant asshole Train. Go ahead and do your thing, man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Chili.
You dirty asshole. All right, sorry. Yeah, Chili, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. No, CJ already hit it, and no personal plugs for me. I'm good. I'm glad you got yours in though, CJ.
Well, fuck that. What about CJ's Chili's Custom Corner? Come on, man.
I'm just saying, reach out, man. I'm here.
That's no, we're not plugging ourselves. I'm waiting for somebody else to do it for me.
No, yeah, we're at Sneaker Peek Podcast on Instagram, straight up. Chili's Custom Corner at Pusha 23 or some shit like that. Whatever. Hit us up at Sneaker Peek on the Instagram. We're there. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to anyone. We love talking to people. So just hit us up. Whatever.
Nick and Joe, welcome to the SPP fam. We love you guys.
Straight up.
Totally, man. Both of you guys, man. We can't wait to do this again. It was so fun chopping it up. And to the listeners and the new listeners, I hope too, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been a blast. And thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. Make sure you connect with these guys. Look forward to us working together in the future and making the world a better place. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Let's go.